So here I'm trying to determine.
Hey guys, I actually had another video idea that I thought might be really helpful for you. I actually have I have more than four, but I have 4 different ages of squirrels. And a lot of the time when we get phone calls, people will say, I have a baby, and I'm not sure how old it is, and sometimes we'll get in like a big, almost adult squirrel that's eating on their own and rambunctious and definitely didn't need to be brought in. And then sometimes we will get, something on the phone, oh, I have a baby squirrel, I'm not sure how old, and it will be a little guy that needs to come in. And this will be a good way for you to be able to identify what age group you're at. My first example here, let me grab him out, is this little guy.
Whoa!
He's about a week old. He is just starting to get dark color pigmentation. He has a little bit of whiskers that are coming in here. And he doesn't have his eyes open, he doesn't have his ears up. He still has those black squirrel nails. And he's really, you can see his body's very tiny. He's obviously has good energy. Another thing you can look for in the belly, do you see this little white line? If that white line exists, that's called a milk line. That means that there's milk in the belly and he's not starving. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. But you can see how there's that little white line. It's really, it's not obvious when they don't have it, but it's obvious when they do have it. So if you find one of these little guys, he has a beautiful milk line there, you can try and reunite that one with mom. You find one of these guys, he's lethargic, he's sluggish, he's dehydrated looking, and he doesn't have that line, then we'd want to go ahead and see him in because this guy is only eating milk from mom right now. Obviously, he doesn't have his eyes open, he doesn't know where he is. It's best to get them back with mom or get them to a rehabber. My second example here, and let me clean him up just a little bit. All right, is this little guy. And I actually had him in a video before. He's gotten a little bit bigger. He had some puncture wounds, but they've healed very nicely, and he's gotten quite a bit fatter. So if you see, his eyes are still closed. He has hair all over his face. Ears are starting to perk up a little bit, and he's got this big round belly. But you can see, right here, he's got a little bit of chub, so you know he's well fed. He's got a big round Buddha belly. He's not, a lot of times when they're too thin, you could see these really distinct bones in the back. You can see the spine very distinctly. But he is about 3 weeks old now. He's doing very well. He's a very healthy looking guy, other than those little punctures that actually did heal really well, but they left a little bald spot. Another thing you can look at is the tail. This tail is nice and clean, and it's, not bald at all. Sometimes the tail will be bald, or you'll see the bones, the individual vertebrates in the tail. And the same is true for the little bitties. It's more of this age. And possums, is if you see those little vertebrates in the tail, it's a sign of dehydration. And you can see them sometimes with the squirrels too, and that's bad news. So those are things to look for. And the same, this age you can kind of see the milk line. I'm sorry. Well, you're starting to not be able to see that milk line anymore. It's starting to go away because he's covered with fur. But they'll cry, or they'll be lethargic, sluggish. Anytime you see flies or any other bugs around them, those kind of things, we'd want to see him in. If you found a guy that looked just like this and he was warm and fat and happy, I'd try and reunite him with mom. All right, I put these guys back, and I'm going to get my next example.
Well, it should be the age Gifty's at now. I think she's about 10 weeks. From what I remember researching when I had Providence.
Squirrel, maybe a little more, maybe closer to 5.
Oh, okay.
Hello, she just opened her eyes a couple of days ago. Oh, yeah, we're still working on opening that eye. But you can see smaller, a little bit, a bit bushier tail.
Well,
it's starting to actually get some character to it.
Gifty seems
eyes
about
are
6
opening.
weeks then. Maybe 7.
Fur everywhere, ears are perked up. This girl is still only eating formula. So she needs to be with mom 24/7. Right now, you can start to see them on occasion, like nibbling at stuff, but really they're just starting to become a little more active, just starting to become a little more independent, but still totally need their mom. So if you find one of these and they are crying or following you around, or they seem really lethargic and cold, we would want to get some help for her. Otherwise, you know, if she was fat and happy and warm, we'd try and reunite her with mom too. All right, let's pop you back in. I know.
So that's 5 or 6 weeks then.
She's mad that I pulled her out and didn't feed her. Okay. And lastly, well, here, let me pull you out.
Now I think she gets the ages wrong.
This is about 6 weeks old.
6 weeks, no.
Oh, I grabbed my too young one, actually. You're not 6 weeks. You're going on almost 6 weeks. We're getting there.
Almost 6 weeks, so, well, I think we're in that ballpark, people.
This is the one I wanted to grab. She has eyes open. Ears are normally up. She's a little nervous right now because she doesn't know what I'm doing. She's a little... I think I grabbed the wrong one. I think you're 5 weeks old. This is the one that actually just opened her eyes last week too. As you can see, very similar to the other one with that little bit of bushy tail. We have eyes are open, but she's still like, what the heck are you doing? Still eating completely from mom. This one's actually very sweet. You're very sweet, aren't you? Again, always try and reunite with mom first. That's always the best idea. And then from there, we try to, yes, I grabbed a boy. And from there, we try to troubleshoot and try to get them into rehab.
6 weeks old.
Here too. She must be hiding. Here we go. I know. Okay, well, she doesn't want to hold still. But this is a good sign. You could see she's a little bit older. She is eating a little more solids. She's still needing mom's milk, which is very important. And she is just scared to death right now, so I'm going to put her back. But the older they get, the harder they are to handle, the more rambunctious they are, and that's what we want to see. So if we're getting them in and they're lethargic and they're sleepy and they're not doing very good, those are bad signs. So I hope that helped. I know that was a couple different age groups. Anything bigger than that, they start to eat on their own a little bit more. They're a little more independent, and it's a little bit harder to tell who is totally on their own and who's not. But always contact your local rehabber, and I hope that was helpful. Thanks.
Yes, indeedy.
Today I'm going to go over everything you need to know about caring for a baby orphan squirrel. So the very first thing you're going to do whenever you get the squirrel, see if it's dehydrated. Now to find out if the squirrel is dehydrated, you can pinch his back up, and if the skin stays wrinkled and it doesn't expand back out, that means the squirrel is dehydrated. Then you need to get some Pedialyte. The best kind of Pedialyte you can get is the non-flavored if you can find it. So after you get the squirrel hydrated, you can give them the milk before they're hydrated, but they're not going to be able to take it. It might kill them. But after they're hydrated, you want to give them some milk. Now, you don't want to buy pre-mixed milk. This is Asbolic puppy formula, and that's powder formula. This is the best stuff that you can get to feed baby squirrels. Now I'm going to show you the mixing ratio for this. It's not the same as what's on the back of it. But you need to determine the size of the squirrel and how old it is before you feed it. Because how much you feed it depends on how old it is. So this squirrel right here is about 3 weeks old because it's furry all over. And his eyes didn't open. Their eyes open at about 4 weeks. So he's got fur all over. At about 2 weeks, they start to get fur on them. So they'll be a little bit furry. But at about 3 weeks, they're full of fur. They got their bottom teeth. Their incisors are coming in. Alright, so I'm going to link a chart and a link to another website down below. This is going to tell you how to judge how old the squirrels are. Now, if the squirrels don't have fur on them yet, you're going to need to keep them on some kind of external heating source. So the best is something like this or a towel. 50 of these things. People bring them to me every year whenever they fall out the trees, the cats get a hold of them, there's storms. They're just, I have a bunch of people know that I have taken care of them before and I know how to take care of them, and they're always bringing them to me, so I've raised a lot of these things. They don't really make good pets. Once they start to get mature, they want to go find a mate. They get kind of rough with you, they'll bite you. I've had them bite through my finger. Most of the time when they start to mature, you need to let them go. Alright, now you want to mix enough milk to feed the babies for at least 2 or 3 days. Depending on what size the babies are and how many you're feeding depends on how much formula you want to mix together. For me, I've got 4 of them, so I'm going to fill this up about halfway. That's going to last about 2 days. So you want your mixing ratio to be 1 part powder to 2 parts water. Well, you want to get the water hot, almost to a boiling point. So what I'm going to do...
Well, I'm not feeding them on powder, I'm feeding them on scalded milk, so...
It starts boiling, mix it together as best you can.
Let's just see how many...
You just crawl around there.
How many mils.
So you through the strainer. And those babies are going to have diarrhea as well.
Diarrhea, what's that?
Now you really want to take this and let it set. Let it cool down, let it sit in the refrigerator for a couple hours. Give that formula time to mix together well. But we're going to take the milk, put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to let it cool off. Set it in there, let it cool down. Now when you store your milk in the refrigerator, you want to put it in something in the top on it. This is just a small baby container. If you just have 1 squirrel, this will be fine. You can just put the milk in here. It's got a little lid on it, a little screw lid. Of course, if you have 4 squirrels like I do, you're going to need a bigger container. Put it in there to store it, and then whenever you're ready to feed them, you take it out and warm some up. So now that we have our milk cooled down, we don't want to warm this whole entire container up. You want the milk to be warm when you feed the babies. A lot of times if it's cold, they may not eat it anyway. If you keep warming all this milk up and cooling it down, you might spoil the milk. So we just want to warm up a little bit. We're going to take a shot glass here. We're going to pour just enough milk in there to feed these babies. We're going to put it in the microwave for probably about 3 seconds. That's really all it takes. 3 or 4 seconds. So we'll put it in there for 4 seconds. Alright, take it out. Now you'll do the test. You stick your finger in it, see how hot it is. If it's hot enough to burn your finger, if it's too hot, you need to let it cool down. But once it does cool down, it's just kind of warm. You'll get you a syringe. Now I picked this up from the local drugstore. Now it's really best if you can get a feed nipple to go on the end of these. You might be able to find those in the pet store. Depending on the size, once again, depends on how much you're going to feed them. The chart below will have all that information in it. But these being about 3 weeks old are going to eat anywhere from 4 to 5.5 cc's depending on how big the baby is. A good rule of thumb is you can watch their bellies. You feed them kind of slow. You can see their bellies start to swell. Definitely don't want to overfeed them because they'll keep eating a lot of times. If they haven't eaten in a while, they'll eat too much and then it can wind up killing them if you overfeed them. Alright, now our milk has cooled down. It's probably about the same temperature as my finger now, which my body temperature is 98 degrees. Put about 4 cc's in here to start with. Now if these babies hadn't eaten in a while, whenever they eat, they're going to try to suck that milk down. If you're not careful, they can inhale the milk and you'll see it coming out their nose. If that happens, you want to stop and you want to clean it up with a wet paper towel. That's bad. You don't want that happening. If you don't have a feed nipple, that feed nipple is going to keep them from inhaling the milk. But this is just a syringe. So you don't want to let him get the whole entire syringe in his mouth like this. Because if you do, he can suck that milk out of the syringe and you'll see it coming back out his nose. You want to just kind of hold him firmly and you want to put barely the tip of it up to his mouth and press down on it very slowly. If you press too fast, it's going to push that milk down his throat and then that milk is going to come out his nose. They can get a respiratory infection. It can cause to a lot of other problems. But you want to make sure you feed it very slowly to keep that from happening. So you just press down on it. I like to hold my finger on the syringe right here and then press down on the back of it, because if you don't hold your finger on it and apply pressure on that syringe, a lot of times they can actually suck and they'll suck that syringe down and then once again the milk will come out of their nose. It also helps if you hold them at a horizontal angle like this. If you hold it up like this, they're bad about getting the milk down in their lungs and coming out their nose too. And just take your time, feed them really slow. Alright, once you fed him enough, you just put him back in with his brothers. At this age, the babies can use the bathroom on their own, but before this age, before they start getting fur on, about 1 to 2 weeks, anything before that, you're going to have to promote them to use the bathroom. So really the best thing to do is get you a cotton ball. I don't have one right now, this is just a paper towel. So what you can do, you wet it with warm water and you just tickle their genitals and they will use the bathroom. Because what the mother does, their muscles have not developed yet for them to be able to use the bathroom on their own. So the mother actually licks their genitals to promote them going to the bathroom. Now that's very important if the babies are very small. If they're smaller and they don't have a hair on, it's very important.
Sounds like my kind of mom.
That will cause them to die because all the food will build up in them. You'll notice in the cage. You can see in the cage if they're using the bathroom or
Sounds
not.
like the sort of mummies you got down in them southern states of America.
Not using the bathroom, that's a sign for concern. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about taking care of a baby squirrel and feeding them. At this age, you want to feed them every 3 hours, probably about 6 times a day. And the older they get, the less you can feed them, and then you can start putting little wood blocks in there for to chew on, and once their eyes open, you can start weaning them off the milk. Once again, the link will be below on all of the details on how to do this stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, drop a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys later.
Awesome. And so there we have it. So this little sweetheart, it's a female, and she's called Gifty. She's about 6 weeks old, and she's doing great. I'm going to do the dehydration test later, but she didn't feel dehydrated. She didn't feel bony. She felt strong and full-bodied. And so it appears then that I should be feeding her every 3 hours. And she took, I think she took 5 mil. And about 6 weeks maybe, I think they can be up to 7 mil. So I didn't want to do that because I don't want to overfeed her. I just wanted to make sure she's got something in her stomach, so she's not dehydrated and she's got energy. And so I will give her 2 syringes, and rather than just have a big syringe and just keep squeezing it down, because like this dude said, they can tend just to keep eating and overeating. So I'm going to, I think more often with less is better than bigger meals. I don't want to risk overfeeding, so I think I shall feed her every couple of hours with 4 meals, maybe 5 meals, and I'll do that for the next week. See how she is, and if she starts really to look for more food, then okay, I'll give her another half of a syringe, another mil or so. And so at this age they will eat and then they'll sleep. That's all they'll do. So let us now have a look at Providence when I first found her, to see how big she was. So I'm going to go onto my playlists, and let's hone in a little bit. About like that. And let's have a look. My pet squirrel Providence now. Here she is when I first found her, and she was still on milk for a couple of weeks, and so hello, what are you doing? I think she's about a week older than this one here.
Are you my new friend? I think I'll take you home.
Whoa!
Let's come and see me. Hey. Well, would you credit it? This little fella's just come out of the woods and wanted to be my friend. And
it's like we've been best friends forever.
They are so intelligent and so beautiful, and they love the human being. They love being little house bears. Hello. Hello. You talking to me? Hey. What you got? Hey. What you got?
Well, guys and
Want to come
girls.
home? I think you better.
Yeah,
I think you're to
so she was more than happy
Seeing as you like my hair and all
to
that.
come home, and she used to, spend most of the day in my hair and sitting on top of my head. And so I think she's a week, 10 days older than Gifty. And so almost the same age. Born almost the same time, because if I had have found Gifty on the 7th of October when I found Providence 2 years ago, then they would have been the same age. And so it's the 23rd today. It's the last day of summer, and so only 2 weeks away, then it's my birthday, 2.5 weeks. So yeah. Anyway, obviously now I'm going to be pretty busy, and she's going to become a bit of a handful, because she's going to be everywhere, jumping on everything, and I'm gonna have to move lots of things. I had to bury all my wires under blankets and towels before, because Providence was nibbling on everything. And in the evening time, Providence wants to come and walk on the computer, and then come down in my shirt and, ferret around, and the claws on the skin wasn't good, but she'd sleep in my sleeve on my hoodie whilst I'm just watching the computer. She'd be in there sneezing and fidgeting for all night. That's where she wanted to stay. She always wanted to stay next to my body heat, but I'd obviously take her out, put her in her towel on the couch, and then when she was big and she was all over the place, I had to put her in a cage overnight, which I did that for only about 10 days. She didn't like it at all. She hated being in the cage. But then she was just too active. And so I built her a house and put it in the tree. And that's where she lived. So people, well, it feels great. It feels very reminiscent, very reminiscent. And a gift from the cosmos, because I'd been very desirous to have another companion again, and how bizarre that I should get one is probably one of Providence's kids' babies. I don't know, maybe one of Providence's kids. Maybe she's going to show up soon. But anyway, yeah, it's a joy.